Women Foundation believes that it takes about 1 million cups of coffee to launch a business. In my experience, entrepreneurs need something a little stronger, which is why we've hosted here at Tipsy McSway's. And Miss Susan Bates, we are celebrating our 9th anniversary hosting it here at Tipsy McSway's. So,
this is our 5th year of 1 million cups of coffee. Yesterday was my 9th anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, rookie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we get started next, I'm excited to introduce our next speakers. I met these entrepreneurs when I was new to Brunswick, and I was really impressed with what they were doing for the community. More so, I really think it embodies the spirit of what 1 Million Cups is about, entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. So please join me in giving a very warm 1 Million Cups welcome to the Melanin Makers Market.
So we're a little bit nervous. This is the first time we've actually had to get up in front of people to present. You know, normally it's just one-on-one or email or
on video.
Right. So I'm Takiela Langley.
And I'm Arielle.
And we're the founders of the Melanin Makers Market. Okay, so what the Melanin Makers Market is, first of all, we're going to tell you why we started the market. So we noticed here, and we're both born and raised here in Brunswick. I've lived away and came back in 2009, but we're both makers. And we noticed that there was a gap in the market because there were no markets that were really, we felt,
Okay. Basically, we were at my house, I want to say, sitting at the coffee table, and we noticed that there weren't many makers of color, I guess I should say, in some of the markets that the pop-up shops, the market vendors and all that good stuff. And so we were just talking, and it's like, you know, I'm a visual artist and I paint a lot of things for African Americans, like hip-hop and all that great stuff. And she makes body butters, different creams, oils and everything. And we were just kind of like, wouldn't it be great if we had a platform that showed like makers of color, like from our hair to our skin to our art to our music, and just really show everyone what we all have to offer, because you won't know what we have to offer if we're not seeing them, you know, on the scene.
Right. So everyone knows how big representation is, and we know that it matters a lot. So there's a saying that says you can't be what you can't see. So that's what we thought was missing here in the local craft fair and markets. So what we did is we bootstrapped it. When we did our first market back in November of 2019, we had about 30 vendors, which is the average amount of vendors that we host. And we built our website, we did everything. We even, we didn't purchase, but we came out of pocket for our venue. So that first market, it went pretty well. We had it at Coastal Pines Technical College. We did our second market, I think it was Leap Year's Day, was it?
February 29th last year.
Yeah. So it seems so far away, so long ago, because we were supposed to have another market, but COVID shut everything down. So with that second market, what we did was double the attendance. So we were very proud of that. We grew our social media from 0 to what it is now. We have over 1,300 organic followers on Instagram and hundreds of likes and followers on Facebook. So here's how we add value. What we do is provide a space for other makers and small businesses of color to bring their products and their services to market. All right, so you get to have all of those talents and products and services in one location. Our venues vary, we move around. This market we have is actually March the 13th.
At Selden Park Gym.
Right, so it's going to be from 12 to 4. You're welcome to come out and support. But that's where we're having this market at. So, I don't know what else to say about it. We have, about 30 plus vendors this time as well. And we do things people say that, we're very organized the way that we do it. There are a lot of people locally who put on markets, or they call them pop-up shops. I really prefer to refer to what we do as a market because it's not a pop-up. Pop-up, to me, it's like something you just thought of one day and the next day, boom, there it was. We put months of planning into each market. We're very organized. There's an application. It's a juried event because we want to make sure that there's not too many people in the same lane so that everybody makes money. So one thing that we do is after we have our market, we send out to our vendors a vendor.
Like an email blast.
Yes, not the email blast, the survey.
Oh,
Yeah. So we send out a survey to ask them what we did well,
what
we could do better, and just to get a feel for it. So on the last market, the vendors who took the survey, 84% of them actually made a profit. So we were very excited about that. We also have a couple of vendors who said that they made the most at our market that they've made at any of the other markets. So we have vendors who come from Atlanta, Savannah,
Tennessee.
Jacksonville. Yeah, we had one from Tennessee. We're always shocked when people travel to get to our little market.
Yeah, because this is only our third one. Next Saturday, it'll be only our third one. So we're always very excited when vendors from out of state basically want to come see us and vend at our market.
Right.
That lets us know all the marketing we put on is really getting out there.
Exactly. So we were able to, I think at our second market, after the second market, we were able to set aside money for our venue. So that's growth for us because like I said, we started coming out of our own pocket and now we're able to, go into our little business banking account, which isn't much, but it covers the things that we need to have covered.
I think also another thing that we've noticed with each market, like our first market, a lot of our vendors came from out of town. With the second market, we have more local vendors coming and more local vendors saying, hey, well, this is a place where we can be seen. And so they started showing us stuff. Now, our third market, we had applications almost full, vendor spots full by the end of the first week, all locally. So
right,
that's
and
another thing.
I attribute that to the brains of the marketing department.
I said she's gonna put that in there somewhere.
So I took a course online with this guy who's like a guru of marketing, Facebook, Instagram, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use the stuff that I learned in that course, and I did. So the first market, it was like applications just trickled in.
Yeah.
And so we're on the third market. I think we were almost full with our booth spots, maybe like a week into doing the advertising for vendors. So I was like, yeah.
But another thing too, not just at our actual markets, what our goal is and what we have been doing, we don't just say, hey, our market's March the 13th, we show you who the vendors are and then we forget about them. We actually promote them after the market. So we have a lot of vendors who love coming back to us because we recommend them to different businesses, we recommend them to other companies. Like if you build a website, we recommend, oh, someone needs a website, oh, we know the perfect person for it. So we definitely help boost their businesses as well outside of the market.
Right, I forgot about that. So we have a feature called the Meet the Maker profile. And so part of the application, once they are accepted, we send them an email that has all these links. But we have a Google form, and what they do is they answer the questions on the form, and they will send us a picture of themselves and a picture of their product or service. So what we then do is go on Canva, and we create a profile for them. So every day, Monday through Friday, we post a different vendor, and you get to get a feel for them. So it's not just pushing a product or service in front of your face. You actually get to know the person behind the brand. And that's what people are really buying. They're not buying, your product or your service. They're buying you and your story behind it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, and also what our goal is just bigger than just having a market and making some money. The business owners are at varying levels of, just varying levels. We have some who this is their first time selling, whatever they're selling. We have some that actually have, shops or they actually, establish.
Businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we like to do is, to give them resources and hints such as like, hey, this makes for a presentable presentation of your products. To have, stands instead of having everything as a flat lay. This is where you can buy a nice fabric tablecloth. This is where you can buy a customized runner. So we're actually, networking and bouncing things off of each other, which is a smaller version, I guess, of this. It's like a tighter knit, community.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
So, but basically, yeah. Thank you.
All right, and that question I'm going to ask, what do you need from our community today?
Basically, we're here just to get the word out and to let people know what we do. Our market is quarterly, that's the goal.
Yeah, 4 times a year.
Right, so we're trying to get on track with that. But basically, and also our
Come out and support.
yeah, our website is melaninmakersmarket.com, and we're on Instagram and Facebook at Melanin Makers Market.
And I know I'm trying to borrow some of that shine when you're all taking over my Instagram account next Tuesday for me.
Yes.
Great, I saw a question back here.
I don't really have a question. I just want to say that your class paid off because I see your advertisements everywhere. And I have a word game on my phone and it comes up all the time and I'm like, there's a little part of me that's like,
Yeah,
like when I see
someone told me that they saw it while they were playing pool on Apple, like the little pool
yeah,
game.
it's
And I
on
was
my
like,
wordscapes. Like you have to watch a video to play this game, and it's like a word search thing, and it comes up every single day. So you did a good job, and I'm looking forward to it.
For the other entrepreneurs in the room, can you share what that class was?
It's this guy called, his name is Abu Fofana, and it's one of those things where you see him online, right, and you click it and he just follows you around the internet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I click on this? Because I'm seeing this ad everywhere. And so he teaches you how to do that.
Awesome, thank you. And I do have, before another question, I have a comment from our Facebook community. I love that you are holding these at places like Selden Park, a place with an incredible history of African American cultural heritage. You are able to not only highlight these products, but bring attention to places of cultural heritage as well. Do you have plans for other historical locations, perhaps such as Harrington School?
That's an awesome idea. The only thing is we have to consider spacing.
Parking.
Spacing, parking, the price that it costs for us to secure the venue. So those are all factors in us having a location.
as well as permission from the venues themselves.
Do you all have a list of vendors anywhere for the market that's coming out?
Yes, so if you go to Facebook or Instagram, every day, like I said, we roll out the vendor that we're highlighting for that day. So if you scroll and scroll and scroll, you'll see all of the vendors that we've had since 2019.
We try to give our vendors a little spotlight so that like every day you can click on their Instagram page, follow their Instagram, see what their website is. So we try to just give them a day where it's made just strictly about them versus piling them all in one day. I mean, if you're anything like me, I get tired after the fifth slide. So I like this one better.
I was just wondering how you find your venues.
Well, sometimes they find us. When we first started, it was harder because you have to prove yourself. Nobody knows who you are. But they're like, what is that?
And with our first market, we actually sat down and had the conversation. It was September 7th of 2019, and we had our first market November. It's definitely a learning process because we had no idea that you have to book these venues months in advance, and that's how we settled on Coastal. Coastal Pines, because they were like the only place that was like, yeah, we have room, we have a day
Just
open.
just being in my location right here and telling you about the activity in the park right next door to me, these parks downtown are available for things like this. And I can tell you they're not booked they're booked, but they're not booked all the time. And the space available, I've seen plenty of art fairs and things like that maybe 15 can fit in one side, but they're at opposite sides of the street. So you could bring in two parks, and it's not very expensive.
And the two on the other side.
Well, see, that's where our vendor survey kind of comes into play because our first market, the way we did it, we had like, say this is the building, we had some of them in like a room area, and then we had some of them at the entrance, and our vendors didn't like the separation at all. Like that was probably the number one downside of our first market.
Well,
we heard about that a lot.
there's multiple parks, so this shouldn't limit you on what you see the sizes. For instance, at the end of, just by the old city hall, by the police department, there's Queen Square, and that could easily fit your size of event. Moxie Craft Fest happens down that way too, and it's every time that happens down here, I'm busy. So I would love for you to plan an event down here so I can be busier.
Well, actually, one of the things that we are thinking about is we were actually just having a discussion about a summer market, and we wanted to kind of do like a night vibe, and we were looking at this area to do it too. So we'll probably be seeing you this summer.
Good.
How did the Tennessee vendor find you?
Okay, so we have established ourselves on social media. So
Heavy.
right, so we'll market. So we do marketing that's geared towards vendors, and we also do separate marketing that's geared towards attendees. So they found us online.
Well, I knew you did that, but what precisely, do you know?
I actually remember this venue, this vendor specifically. What it is I joined this craft group because I'm an artist. I paint, and I joined this craft group. And when we knew we were having our second market, I actually asked permission from the admin. Could I post our commercial, our ad in the group? And she was one of the members of the craft group that I was in. And so she ended up, she was like, oh my gosh, I actually have seen your ad, but you know, you guys are in Brunswick, Georgia, and it's so far away. So I like super hyped us up. And I was like, it's so amazing. You have to come. You're going to love it. And so she came and she liked it. So.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that we advertise, oh, we're, right here by the island. So they make a weekend of it.
Yeah, definitely. And we also give them recommendations for like hotels, different restaurants they can go to. So we spread it to the community a little bit there.
Yeah, and I also want to thank Vanessa because like she said, she was new to the area. And she sent us, I guess, a DM. And we were like, who is this woman? Like, why is she asking us these questions?
Not going to lie, I was very skeptical.
Right, she's a skeptical one. And so we also hooked up with the princess here. So we went on a little, like a fact-finding tour to Tennessee, and we're able to meet more people. So that was all because of her.
Well, thank you. That's my job. All right, any last questions?
I have a question.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I was just going to ask, what do you guys feel has been your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge, starting off was just nobody knew who we were. They didn't know, what we did. And now I would say like marketing because, things are changing on Facebook. Apple just did this one thing where they're not wanting Facebook pixels to be used, so it's going to make advertising harder, which probably is going to make it more expensive. So I think with most businesses, it doesn't matter how great your product is if nobody knows about it. So advertising is what, and sponsorship is what we struggle with. So we just kind of find ways around it to be as creative as possible.
Do you have time for one more question, Ms. Donovan?
Are you able to make a living at this point? And if not, do you have jobs outside of this role?
We wish that we did, but not yet. We can't make a living off of it yet. But I'm a former educator. I taught for 10 years here in Houston County.
And I'm a first assist surgical tech.
You're what?
A first assist surgical tech.
Yeah, so we have our hands in a lot of different pots, and plus she's an artist and I have a skincare business. So we have a business together and we have our own separate businesses.
And we've been in our own market, of course.
Right.
So we all need to go to the market so that you can do this full time, correct? All right, everyone, please give our ladies a warm applause. And you are also officially part of the Kaufman Foundation 1 Million Cups community. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Skip, for trusting me to lead the troops today. And thank you, everyone, for letting me stumble through my first 1 million cups here in Brunswick.